Okay, so let's move on to putting the border on. This is the pretty blanket here, and I'm starting a brand new yarn cake, and it just happens to have the tan on the outside. If I wanted to be more color specific, I could probably pull from the inside. It looks like there's a blue on the inside, but I'm just taking what it is, whatever's on the outside, because it'll match the colors either way. And I'm just going to, of course, now I just got a knot in my yarn as I pulled it. And I'm just going to start with a simple single crochet around, but I just wanted to show you my first row here and how I get started. And then crocheting on the sides, because I think that oftentimes on patterns, it makes sense, especially if you're a new crocheter, to crochet in the stitches on the top and bottom. This is where I ended, and it's really easy to figure out where these crochet stitches are. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can see these. Well, on the bottom, you can see them as well. All right, you can see the crochet stitches, and actually on the bottom, I'm probably I might crochet into the stitch when I get down to the bottom here. I don't know. I'll let you know the pattern of what I do. But here's the one stitch where we crocheted 3 into here. And so I'll just be putting 1 stitch in here and 1 stitch around. But when you get to the sides, you kind of ease the stitches around. I'm probably going to do, I don't know, 1 or 2 here, maybe 2 here, 1 here, and then maybe 2 or 3 here, and then, or maybe 2 here and 1 here. Because I'd like to kind of get into that little spot here where it would have been the bottom, the ending stitch and the starting stitch of the other row, of one of the rows, because it just helps anchor it a little bit more. So I've got my yarn on my hook, and so I'm just going to start in any corner. I'm just going to pick this corner, and this is going to be like a small spot here. I'm not going to see that, so I'm just going to go in here because it's a nice little place. And I'm going to put my yarn in here, and then this will actually snug up. That's all snugged up, and I'm going to chain 2. Just because when I come back then to do a slip stitch into this spot, it's just a nice little spot and you can't really see it, just to get myself started here. So then I'm going to do right in the same spot 2 more single crochet. On every corner, you're going to do 3 single crochets, okay? Because that helps ease it around. Now I'm not going to crochet into any stitch here. I'm just going to do probably, like I said, 2. You don't want it to wrinkle on the side, unless you maybe do want it to wrinkle on the side. Depends on what look you're going for. So, that 2 kind of takes me up to this spot here. So I'm going to go into here with a single crochet. And like I said, I think I'm going to do 3 here. But we'll just see how 3 looks. And then after a minute, this is 2. So I could probably, let's see here. What happens if I do a stitch right in here like I did the last one? So maybe it's 2 in there. Sure. Okay, so 2 in each space. And then the third one I'll do at the base stitch there. See, that's how I just figured it out. There. Now as we look at this, see that? So that's how I'm going to do it on the sides. And I'll do the other side the same way. But that has a nice, lay across all of the areas. And then when I come back, I'll have done the single crochet all the way around. And then I'm going to slip stitch right into this little space, into the space that I made with that initial chain 2, right in here. And then I'll be able to start round 2, I should say, which at this moment I haven't figured out what it is, but I'll show you when I get to round 2. Okay, I have finished my first round, and these stitches here are a little bit bigger because I was trying to figure out what my next row was going to be. So you'll notice these loops are a little bit bigger because I've crocheted into them already. These are normal size. So what I ended up doing is 2 double crochet or 2 single crochet into this was my first row of the afghan working upright. So where I'd skipped 2 stitches in the beginning row, I did 2 single crochet, and then I did 1 here and 2 here, and that's what I did along this whole bottom. And then this, of course, is the side, where I've already showed you that. And then the top is really simple. The top, you just have a single crochet right in each stitch, and there's my corner with my 3 single crochet. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is actually turn it on each round so that this really does turn out to be a nice reversible blanket and look the same on each side. And I'm just going to do a simple half double crochet But when I started with my, normally when you started half double crochet, you'll do a chain 2 at the beginning. When I do that, it looks, oops, I got to turn it the correct way here. When I do that chain 2, I'm going to show you. It looks, it just doesn't lay nice, and it's going to leave a big gap. So if that's my chain 2, and then I would have not this stitch, but because that would count as that stitch, I would go into this stitch here and do my half double crochet, and I'll show you a couple. My yarn had to be sticking. I'll just show you a couple stitches here, and it just, I don't know, I just think it's going to leave a big gap. So let me pull this and show you. See that? I mean, I would join it into this stitch here, but I still think we're going to see a little bit bigger gap there. So what I've decided to do, that's why I pulled out stitches. I like to just test things and really see how they're going to look before I continue on. And like I said, I'm probably going to, at the end of each round, continue to turn it. I'm not sure how many rounds I'm going to do yet, but I think I'm going to just continue on with a half double crochet now until I'm done, and maybe end with a round of single crochet. We'll see. But that's easy enough to figure out. So I'm just going to chain 1, and then I'm going to start my half double crochet in that first stitch, because that I'm going to join it then with, here, I'll got a few more stitches here. I'm going to join it when I do my 3 half double crochet right in here. I'm going to be doing 3 half double crochet. I'll do that, and then I'm going to join it right here, not in that single crochet stitch. I'm going to join it right here, and then that'll be real nice, and you won't be able to see any kind of gap. Of course, you see the gap now because we're here because I had the yarn go loose. But I think that that's going to look real nice. So I'm just going to do a simple half double crochet around the whole thing and do a few rounds of it. I do have one more skein of this beautiful yarn left, so I'm probably not going to worry about using this whole skein that I just started. I'm going to figure out another pattern that's going to use about a skein and a half of yarn. Maybe a baby blanket or something, or maybe a shawl. We'll see. I'll think of something here. But I just love these colors, and so that's starting to look real nice. And then the next round I'll turn it, and then I'll do a chain 1, and then I'll work back. So I hope that you make this for yourself too. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.